Chapter 1: A Second Chance. On a rainy night, in the middle of a forest between the bushes, an unconscious young boy woke up. Confused as to where he was, he moved his body to sit, his body hitting the wet leaves on the bush and his skin brushing with the sharp branches of the bush, making it sting a little. He sat up and then tried to understand how he ended up in the middle of nowhere. Fuck. Did I drink too much last night? No, I remember reaching home and met with Lily? Hold on, who is Lily? Suddenly some unfamiliar but familiar memories filled his mind. After some painful moments of headaches, he calmed down and took a short moment of silence to process the memories. He remembered some people that he never met before, but at the same time they were very familiar. After reliving the memories of the original owner of this body, Mika, yes, that is his name, had a crazy maniacal smile on his face. He looked crazy, but opposing to that, he was way too happy. So happy that he forgot about his pain and his surroundings to stand up and yell. Sup? MOT asterisk ERFU asterisk asterisk airs. I got transmigrated, baby. After venting out his happiness to the fullest, he calmed down and processed the information about his current world. His name is Mika, an orphan who lived in an orphanage. He had very little acquaintance and was close to only 3 people. His orphanage director is an old lady. His blind sister, who doesn't have any relation with him, only calls each other brother and sister because they were each other's only company in the orphanage. And lastly, his girlfriend Lyra, both her and the original Mika got into a relationship in their high school. Everyone in the class was jealous of Mika because he, a bookworm, managed to win the heart of the class beauty. He received much bullying and harassment for it as a result. But at least he was happy back then. Because of his good academic performance, everyone had high hopes for him that he would awaken a top-tier profession. And yes, this was a world where everyone awakened a profession or in short class when they turned 15. And after being trained in the man-made instances, they're sent to the realms to fight the invaders. About 100 years ago, multiple portals opened in every place on Earth, and from them came many monsters and humanoid creatures that are trying to take over this world. The humans call them invaders. And with them came the great Tao of Earth, who gave everyone the chance to fight against the invaders by giving them a class. Also, there are no countries in this world. Every country is now a state. Everyone is united and fights against the invaders together. People receive many mystical powers and abilities through their classes by leveling up. Anyone can level up by killing monsters or other living beings. Everyone received their classes when they turned 15, smart enough to learn and get them used to fighting and bloodshed. And for that, the Tao created some special place called the instances. There can be many types of instances with different level caps and different environments. And clearing those, people can get many rewards. The classes don't have any grade system, but the items and monsters do. The item ranks are as follows: white, green, blue, purple, gold, diamond, red, mythic, immortal. The monsters are normal monsters, elite monsters, monster leader, monster general, monster king, monster emperor. The human power rankings are also simple from grade FSSS. Just to warn you guys, accept the human power rankings. Nothing else is going to have any use as the story progresses. FV rank players are from level 1 to 10 novice. DC is level 11 to 50 adepts. BA ranks are level 51 to 100 experts. From 101 to 200 levels are S rank masters. SS rank is 201 to 300 level heroic players. At 301 to 400 are players at SSS rank mythic players. Nobody has ever reached beyond the mythic rank, so people in the Great Blue thought it was the maximum someone can reach. And according to Mika's memories, he is supposed to go through the awakening ceremony tomorrow morning, while he was heading to the orphanage after today's part-time work. Some people kidnapped him and beat him half to death, and then they just threw him in this remote forest. And just like every other reincarnated protagonist, he started to recount on his previous life. He was a 25-year-old man. At first, he was just a regular student and had gone with the flow. But after graduation, when reincarnated and ice guy stories were trending, he realized that like everyone else, he also wanted to be some reincarnated guy who had a powerful destiny and a harem full of beauties. But to no one's surprise, he could never go to another world. Mika got his thoughts together, and following his memories, he walked in the direction of the orphanage. On the way there, something clicked in his mind. He was in a different world, so there definitely is a chosen one in this world. If he is the chosen one, he would either get a powerful system or a very high level of potential. And if he is a normal minor villain in the story, he is sure to get a system, because villains can't survive without the system. And according to his memories, Mika isn't rich enough to be a villain, so he is either the protagonist or a normal extra. And if he is an extra, he should pretty much be average. Overall, his future in this world wouldn't be that bad. He continued his way toward the orphanage, and about an hour later, he is in front of the orphanage. It was in the middle of the night. Everyone was already asleep, but the front door lights were still on. Knowing that someone was waiting for him, he got close to the door and opened it. At the narrow stairway, there was a young girl about 14 to 15 years old sitting there. Her blonde hair, slender figure, and overdeveloped body were like an angel descended on land. Out of everything, her blank, deep blue eyes stood out the most. Looking at her blank eyes, it was obvious that she was blind. When she heard his footstep, she stood up and gave him a forced smile before greeting him. "Welcome back. Did you eat on the way, or do you like your meal now?" He also gave her a gentle smile. "No, I ate on the way." "Why are you awake so late?" "Don't forget that tomorrow is the most important day for both of us. We need to be in our best state." He said, "It is good that transmigration has a healing effect," or Mika was afraid that she would worry too much. Lily gave him a somewhat cold look and remained silent. "I am going to bed." She said Mika wasn't very surprised at her behavior. After all, it wasn't the first time she behaved like this. At first, they were very close. Whenever he was a bit late, she would wait for him at the door like today. But when both of them entered high school together, she became shy. They didn't have any hugs like they used to, but they still had everything normal between them. But after Mika entered into a relationship with Lyra, she became irritable, cold, and distant with him. The original Mika never understood the reason behind her change. But now that he transmigrated as Mika, he understood her. He sighed, watching the back of Lily. He thought, "I know how you feel. But our future totally depends on tomorrow's result. I hope it's not too late then." Same age as me, and we quickly became friends. I never had friends, so finally having someone as a friend was very relaxing. We both played together every day. Over time, we became too close. Hugging each other and kissing their forehead became an everyday routine. At that time, I never thought too much about it. But when we both entered high school, I started to feel more attracted to him. One of the caretakers in the orphanage told me that at some point in life, a man and a woman get married to always be together for the rest of their lives. The more I thought about it, the more I imagined living the rest of my life with him. I never complained about my blindness, but at that time I couldn't help but complain, "Why do I have to live like this? Why can't I just see his face? with the questions I asked myself every time I realized that I would be nothing but a burden to him. I felt helplessness, despair, and loneliness every time I thought about him leaving me to be with someone else. I didn't feel anything when I knew that my parents had abandoned me, but now even thinking about him abandoning me feels hard to bear. I know by the time we awaken our class, it will be too late for me to even think about anyone else. Seeing how talented he was in everything, I knew I can't stop him from being with someone else. So, I planned to express my feelings to him after we successfully awakened our class. But I never got the chance. At the start of our final year of high school, I heard my desk mate talk about Mika and Lyra being together. I panicked. At night, I asked him if that was true. He replied with a smile that it was indeed true. I knew this would happen, but it still hurt me deeply. Every time he came late, I became irritated. We were practically adults, but thinking about him spending time with her made me mad. And today he came back at midnight. I never suspected that they would do that anytime soon. But thinking about how important tomorrow was, it just came to my mind. Now everything he said became irritating. Even now, as I lay in the bed, I feel even more helpless and lonely. I want to be with him for the rest of my life. I can't stop him from loving someone else, but at least don't abandon me. With her eyes, what only one thing was in her mind: Mika, I love you, 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 I love you. This gives Yandra vibes. In the morning, Mika woke up with a tired yawn. He and some other kids who had their awakening ceremony for today all quickly got ready and ate a hearty meal. Even though it was an orphanage, most of the children in here were the illegitimate children of the wealthy clans and families. Normally, if their heir awakened a better profession than the bastard child, they won't even look at them. But by any chance, if they awakened a better class than the original heir, the bastard child would replace the heir. And because of the donation from these families, the orphanage is still financially stable. Anyway, after their meal, they got into the bus and quickly reached the awakening altar. The altar was a giant stone pillar with a formation underneath it. It has a mechanism that is very well known to Mika. It was the same: stand in the center, you become a light bulb, and the old guy who is looking at a screen announces your class and potential rank. The potential rankings are from 1 star, 10 star, and anything above 5 stars is considered a genius. Below 5 stars is average and trash. Everyone came out of the buses and stood together in a straight line. On the stage beside the altar, many high-ranking officials, leaders of big families, top powerhouses in the city, and the city mayor were present. After confirming that the children from all the schools and orphanages in the city were present, the mayor stood up. He wasn't very loud, but everyone present could hear it. As everyone knows, today is the most important day for everyone. I won't waste too much time. Just want to let you know that no matter how weak the profession you have is, every one of you is an important resource to humanity. All you have to do is just level up and you'll get stronger. So, let the ceremony begin. Chapter 2: Awakening. Asterisk. Just like that, the awakening ceremony began. Because of their last arrival, Mika's groups of people were the last one to proceed. So he and Lily stood at the corner, watching other students awakening one after another. This year, there were many prodigies from the top clans. The most outstanding of them were Lucian Ravenscroft, heir of the Ravenscroft family. And lastly, Lyra Fennel. Out of the others, she has the most humble background. She is from a middle-class family, with both her parents being government officials. On the stage, beside the mayor, was sitting a middle-aged man who looked like he was in his 20s. His white hair and light blue eyes perfectly matched his facial structure. He was none other than Alexander Ravenscroft, the current patriarch of the Ravenscroft family, the person with the special class Storm Lord, which gives him the power over thunder. While he was in the middle of talking with the mayor, his assistant beside received a call. After talking on the phone, he got close to his ears and whispered to Alexander, "Sir, the lost young master has been found. According to the informers, he is going to take his awakening ceremony here today." Alexander's eyes wide opened, and he asked in frustration, "They finally did their job properly. Give me his details." The assistant gulped and said, "They are currently compiling the information and will send them here in a minute." Alexander didn't say anything and quietly looked at the awakening formation. What a bizarre situation. I am meeting my biological son 15 years after his birth. As he thought this, he had a smile on his face as he looked around the thousands of students surrounding the altar. This year, the numbers of strong classes were pretty good. Most of the students had their potential between 4 to 5 stars, and some geniuses with 6-star potential. Currently, it was time for Lyra's turn. As she climbed the stairs, walking toward the formation before stopping in front of the giant metal pillar at the middle, she put her hand at the pillar and a green pristine light rose from the pillar, covering 70% of the pillar. As the light dissipated, the announcer revealed her class and potential rank: Lyra Fennel, Arcane Mage, 7-star potential. As the crowd heard this, everyone in the surroundings burst with cheers. Am I hearing this right? She has the Arcane Mage class, and on top of that, a 7-star potential. This year we finally have a 7-star potential. It has been 3 years since our city had the last 7-star potential. Everyone's voices echoed through the crowd. Everyone, including the top officials, had smiling faces. But in the corner beside Mika, Lily's expression had slight discomfort. She knew that even if Lyra awakened a useless class, Mika wouldn't abandon her. But somehow, she hoped that she would actually awaken a useless class, so Lily could be with him. Now that Lyra is considered a genius, Lily's chances with Mika dwindled even more. Now Lily was scared. Her will to be better than Lyra ignite. She didn't care much about her class awakening before. After all, because of her blindness, thinking about the future was meaningless to her. But now, she needs to be better than Lyra. Everyone calmed down as Lyra walked back to where her classmates were standing. And after her, it was time for the heir to the Ravenscroft family's turn. He walked through the stairs. Reaching the pillar, he extended his hand toward the pillar. As soon as his hand touched the pillar, crimson light rose from the pillar, covering 80% of the pillar. A while later, the crimson light dissipated, and the announcer's words echoed through the crowd. Lucian Ravenscroft, Dark Prodigy, 8-star potential. The crowd went silent again. It is better to know that people with 1 to 3-star potential can only reach expert rank, level 51 to 100, while people with 4 to 6-star potential can become a master, 101 to 200. Only 7 to 8-star potentials can break through 200 levels cap and reach heroic tier, 201 to 300. In other words, humanity just got 2 potentially heroic tier powerhouses. Nobody was surprised. After all, the guy with the 8-star potential was none other than the heir to the Ravenscroft family. Their current patriarch was one of the few heroic tier powerhouses who also had an 8-star potential back in the day. Everyone praised him, and some other family leaders looked at Alex with envy. After them, many talented people had awakened, but none had any special reaction like before. Who would think that a 5 and 6-star potential is better than a 7 and 8-star potential? And quickly it was Mika and his group's turn. Most of the people from the orphanage were average. After a while, it was Lily's turn. Seeing her approaching the altar, almost everyone sighed. Most of the people knew that having a disability is like having one foot in the grave. On top of that, if you receive a combat class with a disability, you are destined to be ruined. Reaching the center of the altar, Lily reached out her hand to touch the pillar. She felt a wave of something like the wind entering her body and releasing it. She couldn't see it, but a purple golden light rose and covered almost the entire pillar. This light covered 98% of the pillar, almost reaching 100%. Lily stood there with anticipation as the announcer announced, Lily Woodward, Oracle of Eternity, 9-star potential. Everyone knew that anyone beyond 8-star potential will without a doubt become a SSS rank mythic level powerhouse. And currently humanity only possesses 3 of those mythic level powerhouses. The crowd, who weren't expecting anything, was shocked with the unexpected news. Everyone cheered louder than ever. Lily was also overjoyed, but for a totally different reason. While everyone else came here for their future, she only came here for a chance. A chance to be with Mika, hearing her 9th-star potential. She only had Mika in her mind. At that moment, she realized that it was too late. Too late for her to give up on Mika. Too late to move on. When she got back to Mika's side, Mika said to her, "Congratulations, you are amazing. You have a very bright future ahead." She didn't answer. Unbeknownst to him, she only had one thing in her mind. A future without you will be hell for me. After a few more children from the orphanage, it was finally Mika's turn. When he got close to the pillar, he had great anticipation in his heart. What would he be in this new world? A chosen one or a normal extra totally depends on his awakening. On the stage, Alexander was sitting there in silence when his assistant handed him a tablet with information. "Is it accurate?" Alex asked. "Totally," the secretary replied. After looking at it for a while, he looked toward Mika, who was currently walking toward the awakening pillar. He smiled and said to himself with anticipation, "Let's see what you've got." Asterisk. Mika stood in front of the pillar, reaching out to touch the metal surface of the pillar. He touched it, nothing happened. After a few moments, there still was nothing. Everyone witnessing the scene was baffled. Mika waited a few more moments, but still nothing happened. When he prepared to wait a bit more, the announcer's cold voice rang in everyone's ears. "Mika, awakening failed, potential 0. Everyone was dumbfounded. How could there be someone who didn't awaken a class? Even from the very beginning of the Tao system, there never had anyone who didn't awaken a class. Mika felt a complex sense of urgency. Is it true? If it's true, then I should be the main character who can awaken but gets a system to become op. The system should be here any moment. When Mika was waiting for the system, silently everyone else was shocked. Alexander asked the announcer, "Are you sure? There never have been any past records of not awakening a class. There aren't any mistakes." The announcer shook his head. "The altar has been provided by the Tao. There isn't any possibility of mistakes." Alex had a disappointed look on his face. After all, Mika was their youngest child. They had him when they were in their strongest time. How his sisters could have amazing talents, and he is simply so weak that he couldn't even awaken. His assistant on the side asked him, "Sir, what should we do?" He looked at him and sighed. How much gold coins does someone need to live the rest of their lives lavishly? Alex asked. The assistant hesitated before replying. Around 100 million, sir. Okay, it isn't that much. Give him 1 billion. Tell him that it is his inheritance from his deceased family who died, and make it as believable as possible, even if you have to create fake graves. Alex ordered his secretary. At first, Alex wanted to bring him back. Even if he is a failure, he is still their blood. But thinking about what the family's reputation would be after everyone knows that their mighty Ravenscroft family's only son is classless, he changed his mind. After some moments of silence, Mika came back to his senses, and realizing that he still hasn't received his system, he quietly walked down the altar. So, even in my previous life and now in this life, I still am a failure. He sighed. After getting back at the group, some tried to cheer him up and some mocked him for being useless. Lily also tried to reassure him that everything will be fine, but she had different thoughts in her mind. Others continued their awakening. Mika was sitting on a corner when a figure approached him. The girl had a delicate face, rosy lips, a delicate figure, and hazelnut hair. Overall, she was quite beautiful. It was none other than Lyra. Mika knew her reason to meet him. He knew it very well. The girl, without any sign of emotion, said in a cold tone, "Mika, we should break up." Mika felt a bit sad, but still answered, "Okay." Lyra didn't expect that he would agree so quickly. "Don't worry. I will compensate you for your precious time," she said in a bit of a gentle tone. Mika shook his head and said, "No need. It isn't worth much for you to care." Lyra was somewhat dissatisfied and snorted coldly, "Fine, as you wish." After saying this, she left the scene. Everyone who watched the scene unfold mocked Mika, while on the other hand Lily was smiling. After everyone was awakened, the mayor again gave a goodbye speech. Congratulations to those who successfully awakened. The college selection trial will be held after 7 days from now on. Everyone should go back and say farewell to your family and friends. Once you leave, you won't be back for another 5 years. So let's meet again at this same spot in 7 days. Dismiss. Everyone began to leave. Once they reached the orphanage, Mika hurriedly ran to his room and shut himself up. Why? Why did they transmigrate me if they're not even giving me power to survive in this world? In his room, Mika said in a helpless tone. Suddenly, he heard a mechanic's voice in his mind. "The Administration Bureau has received your complaint. It is detected that it is our mistake, so we have decided to compensate you with a system. You have received the Omniscient Simulation System, OSS. Any contact with the Administration Bureau has been blocked. You have received some extra benefits for your inconvenience. Please enjoy your stay." Mika was stunned, but overjoyed at the same time. He quickly tried to access the system. System panel, status low, and behold, as a semi-transparent screen appeared in front of him. Omniscient Simulation System. Host Mika. Age 15, simulation age 0. Talents: unrestrained, immortality, photographic memory, learner, collector. Skills: none. Remaining simulation: 1 of 1. Cooldown: 48 hours. Chapter 3: Immortality. Mika looked at the system panel carefully. Is there any guide? Someone who can explain things to me? He asked when a female mechanic's voice answered. Welcome, host. How can I help you? So you're here? Can you tell me more about yourself? Like, what are your functions? He asked. He knew that every system had its own consciousness, so he treated it like he would treat others. Understood. As you know already, I am a simulation system. So I can simulate your life from the current moment to the moment you die. I can also bring back some of the progress you make in the future to the present time. And I can also provide you with information. Mika was a bit puzzled. Information? Aren't you supposed to be a simulation system? I am, but I also have this function because I am a byproduct of an affair between the ultimate simulation system and the ultimate information system. And since I was born from an affair, I am abandoned here. Now, I don't have any relation to the Administration Bureau. What do you mean by abandoned? Mika asked. I mean, I am totally cut off from the main system, and currently my ownership has been transferred to you. To say the least, you are currently my owner. And to let you know, I am a faulty system, and to fix those I need a lot of resources, which are supposed to be provided by you. So, what you're trying to say is that the main system didn't just provide me with a system, but gave me a system. Now I completely own you, and your growth and development totally depends on me. Affirmative. It sounds like they gave you to me for marriage, because they can't repay the money they owed me. He joked. Maybe. After a brief silence, Mika broke the silence first. So, do you have a name? I can't just call you System, knowing you might have a name. No, I don't have a name. Nobody ever bothered to name me. That's good. Let me name you. Mika said with an enthusiastic smile. Host, you don't really have to. Mika didn't give her any chance to rebuke and declared, Your name will be Celestia, and I will call you Tia. Okay, host. Name replaced successfully. He again summoned the semi-transparent screen. Omniscient Simulation System. Celestia. Host Mika. Age 15, simulation age 0. Talents: unrestrained, immortality, photographic memory, learner, collector. Skills: none. Remaining simulation 1 of 1. Cooldown 48 hours. Storage space: simulation gotcha ticket X1. What do these talents do? Mika asked. Then another screen popped in front of him. Asterisk. Unrestrained. Talent description. You don't have any chance of encountering bottlenecks. As long as you learn something, you can't have any bottlenecks until you have nothing to learn in that field. And once you complete the field, a new field for learning will be available for you. Immortality. Talent description. You have eternal life and eternal youth, only inside the simulation. Photographic memory. Talent description. Anything you learn, read or see, you will remember it forever. Learner. Talent description. You can learn anything that is possible to learn and achieve anything that is possible to achieve, without the innate talent restrictions. Collector. Talent description. Every power and energies will coexist within you. Asterisk. Yes, I am finally going to be an OP protagonist. Mika was very happy. Why wouldn't he? He finally transmigrated, got his cheat. Now what else does he need? Sorry to shatter your dreams, host, but you are not a protagonist. Mika asked in astonishment, what do you mean I am not a protagonist? To tell you the truth, you were supposed to be transmigrated about 1,000 years later, but because of an employee's mistake, your soul is stuck in this time. This boy Mika had great talent, but because of his death, his talent vanished. And since your soul was supposed to be 1,000 years later, you'll get your class 1,000 years later. When the administrator noticed that you don't have the means to survive 1,000 years, he gave me to you since I was a disposable system because of my dual traits. That mother F asterisk her. Who is that stupid employee that made this mess? Mika asked, anger flaring in his eyes. If the administrator didn't notice the error, he would have to live 1,000 years in misery, and that is only considering he can survive those 1,000 years. I can't give you this type of confidential information. Calming himself, he looked at the only thing inside the storage space. He knew it was a lucky draw, and after reading the talent's description, he knew how he can increase his strength without relying on the Tao. He has to work hard. With a sigh, he commanded, "Use the gotcha ticket." One gotcha ticket used. You have received Path of Civilization. System, what is this? Mika asked. A screen explaining about the teachings of civilization appeared in front of his eyes. Path of Civilization. Description. The path of civilization serves as a journey of transformation, where a single individual's growth mirrors humanity's collective struggles for advancement. Each tier marks a battle against nature, ignorance, and isolation, driving the follower from mere survival to the brink of interstellar influence. It's a testament to resilience, knowledge, and ambition, portraying how one person's ascent can catalyze civilizations, rise from primal roots to a galactic presence. But you are telling me I have to start by being a caveman? Mika exclaimed, a bit frustrated. Actually, host, it does not require you to be a caveman. In the path of civilization, there are 10 ranks. From Tier 0 to Tier 5, you need knowledge and practical experience from the very beginning of humanity. The 6th tier is the information age, where you need to have all the knowledge about the current technology. After Tier 6, from Tier 7 to Tier 11, is the research age, where you research and discover the next stage of technology yourself. Phew, it would take some time, but at least time in simulation goes much faster. At most, it would take 10 simulations to reach the peak of Path of Civilization, about 20 days. He sighed in relief, but the system gave him anxiety once more. Host, I don't have the time-skipping function. So, you have to live the simulation yourself. I only do the job of starting the simulation and bringing the powers back and giving you information. You have to experience a simulation until you die in the simulation. Other functions have to be unlocked with the required resources. Thank God, you scared me to death for a second. It might be a bit of a problem, but not much. He said, "By the way, how much would pass in the real world when I am in the simulation?" he asked. When you are inside the simulation, no matter how much time you spend in the simulation, only 10 seconds will pass in the real world. Suddenly, a door knock distracted them from their conversation. "Brother Mika, are you there?" It was none other than Lily. She must have been worried about him. Mika walked toward the door and opened it slightly. In front of the door, Lily stood there wearing a slim white nightgown, her eyes blankly looking at the door. When she heard the door unlocking, she took a step ahead and asked, "Can I come in?" He hesitated for a second before finally letting her in. Mika knew what might happen next. He had read too many stories to not know why Lily came here. He and Lyra had broken up, so he knew Lily would come to him today or tomorrow. He showed her the way and sat her on the bed, then took the nearby chair and sat on it, face to face with her. He took a deep breath and asked, "Why are you here?" To be honest, Mika himself didn't know if he was ready to take responsibility for someone when he only arrived in this world just a day ago. Lily was silent for a moment, her ears red. She slowly started to remove her nightgown. Mika grabbed her wrist and asked, "What are you doing?" Lily stayed silent. She grabbed his hand and pulled him towards her, trying to kiss him. Mika changed his mind. He stopped her and ordered in a mischievous tone, "Say it. What do you want? Say it." Noticing his playful voice, Lily tensed up, her body shivering, almost on the verge of crying. She forced herself from crying and said, "Brother Mika, I love you. I don't care I don't care if you have other women in your life, but please, let me be with you forever." Mika smiled. He hugged her. "Don't cry, silly. I won't leave you ever. I will accept your feelings, but I would need some time to actually love you," he said, being totally honest. He knew for any girl it was heartbreaking, but because of what she said, he had the courage to be honest. Lily was silent before bursting out crying and burying her head on Mika's slim and a bit feminine body. After a while, Lily calmed down. Mika held her chin and kissed her. Because of her blindness, her every other sense was highly sensitive, and with her class awakening, her first skill was related to senses. Currently, her body was so sensitive that with only Mika's kiss, she became excited. Feeling something wet on his thighs, Mika looked at Lily. "Are you that excited to be with me that you can't even handle a kiss?" Lily didn't reply and whispered only 2 words, "Be gentle." He smiled at her and pushed her down. Chapter 4. First Simulation. Only in their second round, Lily broke. The first time she lost her V-card, she ejaculated 7 times. And at the start, she ejaculated after every push. Even after her mind went blank, she still ejaculated every minute. Mika couldn't even imagine how sensitive she was with him. But he didn't stop even when she was the most vulnerable. After all, who can resist a weak and helpless maiden who wants to be eaten by you? He went on with her frail and helpless body for 10 whole rounds. It was good that his feminine-looking body was quite resilient. It was nearing dawn, so he reluctantly let her go and laid her on his bed. Her jade-like skin was covered in his bodily fluid, her private part dripping the same liquid. Mika knew that pregnancy was inevitable, so he decided to fully prepare himself for parenthood in the simulation. With a proud grin, he took a photo of her and started to clean up her body. He took her to the shower. It might seem too much of a luxury for an orphanage, but remember, this was an orphanage where only one donation was of millions of golds, and the orphanage was enormous. It was the only orphanage in the city which had many branches. Thankfully, Mika was in the main branch, which wasn't any less luxurious than a 5-star hotel for an orphan who couldn't do anything at all. They gave everyone a room with an attached bathroom, only needing to go downstairs for food in the cafeteria. But now that they are 15, everyone has to move out. Mika needs to find a place to stay within a week. After a shower, Mika dried her up, which still had a pleased and lewd expression on her face. He helped her put on her clothes and laid her on the bed and covered her with a blanket. After a kiss on the forehead, she finally fell asleep. He waited for her to wake up. He looked through the path of civilization and planned his simulation. At 9 o'clock, Lily woke up. She pushed her body to sit up, but failed due to the intense pain in her lower body. Remembering what happened last night, she trembled, again aroused maybe. Mika got up and got close to her, kissing her on the lips. And with a teasing smile, he asked, "What? Can't believe we actually did it." Lily shook her head with embarrassment. He smiled and showed her the photos and videos he took during their intimacy. Every photo and video made her face look like a tomato. And after the last one, she wet herself again. Mika laughed at her cute state. She trembled, and hiding her face under the blanket, she asked, "Did you clean me?" Mika nodded. She wanted to yell, but remembering her earlier words, she said with a low voice, "Please wait for me to get conscious before cleaning me in the future." Mika laughed again, but after a while he looked at her with a serious look. "You might get pregnant after today. We need to discuss our future with them," he said. Lily was silent. She looked hurt. She wanted to say something, but didn't. After a while she said with a shaky voice, "If you want, I will get an abortion." She was about to cry. Mika hugged her and reassured her. "What are you saying?" "I am asking you if you want to keep the baby. And if yes, will it affect your life in college?" Lily stopped crying. After a bit of silence, she answered, "No, I asked the old director, and she said that colleges have special arrangements for pregnant students, especially students as talented as me. And I want to keep the baby. It is the only thing that will connect me to you for the next 5 years." Mika sighed in relief. That's good, so we are keeping the baby. Wait here, I will bring breakfast here. I need to quickly find a place to live and prepare for the future. Lily wanted to say something, but Mika had already left. Mika bought breakfast, and they both ate together. After a while, Lily said, Actually, the orphanage gifted me with 100,000 gold and a house at the Greenland community. I can't give you the money, but I can transfer you the house, and we can move out together. Mika was overjoyed. He hugged and thanked her. It was a huge help to him. If he didn't find a house, he would have needed to work for a couple of years before finally working to strengthen himself. He couldn't waste such precious time in the simulation just by working. Lily pulled him and said in a shy voice, Can you please sign here? She pulled out a piece of paper from the pockets of her gown and handed it to him. Mika read the contents within the papers. This, he exclaimed, shock clear in his eyes. It was nothing else but a slave contract. And the most absurd part was that Lily volunteered to be his slave. Not only that, the contract was completely unfair to Lily. The only thing she asked is that he cannot release her. If Mika signed this, then every right Lily has as a human will belong to him. Every action she does, including touching other people, will need his permission. Every type of privacy she has will be stripped from her, and every property she has will become his. She didn't leave a single way she might be able to escape from his grasp. It's as if she doesn't want to escape. Mika knew Lily was obsessed with him, but it was too extreme even for her. He hesitated before asking, Are you sure? Lily looked down and said, I am sorry. I know that this isn't much, but I don't. Stop, he interrupted her. I am asking if you are serious. Lily showed a look of determination and said in a flat tone, I am. Mika quickly took out a pen and signed the contract. As soon as he finished, the contract floated in the air. It turned into particles and merged with both Lily and Mika. In his previous world, Mika would have tried to make her rethink her decision. But in this world, and with her, why would he let such an opportunity go? Even if Lily regrets her decision in the future, what can she really do? She has no way to escape from him. The next day, they both moved out and reached the house. It was a small and simple 2-story house with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a dining room with a big garden. They both quickly unpacked their stuff, and after lunch they got into intense intimacy. After their sessions, Lily's mind always broke. Respecting her choice, Mika waited until she got back to her senses. As she regained her senses, she looked at her body covered in Mika's seeds. She touched her private part, which was also filled with his white cream. For the next 4 days, they never left their house. They were always seeking pleasure day and night. The remaining 2 days, Mika decides that Lily needs to be in good condition to go there. So he decides to only use her mouth and hand for the remaining days. Mika took pictures and videos of her giving him service from day 1 to the last day. Lily wasn't very pleased that she couldn't satisfy him entirely, but being awake when Mika recorded her giving him head somehow made her thrilled. It wasn't the case about her being unsatisfied. In fact, every time Mika fingered, licked, and sucked her, she was on cloud 9. For now, she wasn't a vegetable-like toy that was only being used. Every time they interacted, she could witness him touching her private parts, sucking on her chest, and licking her from mouth to every private parts and feeling it. Every touch from him made her satisfied. With that, their 7 days together came to an end. In the morning, a car came to their door to pick Lily up. Mika gave her a farewell kiss and said goodbye. Be careful and take care of our child and yourself. Make sure you become the strongest, and don't let any man touch you. I'll make sure to follow your guide and take care of yourself. Bye, honey. She replied, Bye, dear. After she left, Mika stood there for a while and didn't move. He had wasted too much time. Now he needed to quickly begin the simulation. Suddenly his phone rang, and he picked up the call. Hello, is this Mr. Mika? The person on the other end asked. Yes. How can I help you? He replied, Sir, I need to let you know that you have received your deceased parents' inheritance. Please quickly come to this address to receive it. The other party said. At a nearby cafe, Mika looked at the man sitting in front of him. He had black hair, brown eyes, which were pretty common these days. Like I said, your biological parents had died inside a realm gate, and as the only blood relative you gained all the money they had. The man said, Do I need to go through any procedures before getting it? If not, please hurry up. I am currently very busy. Nothing is required. Just give me your account details, and I'll transfer the money right away. At that, Mika provided his account details, and after a while he received a message that he received 1 billion gold coins. Mika was very happy with the amount. It was enough money to last his simulations. He bid farewell to the man and went on his way. The man watching Mika gone took out his phone and called someone. Sir, he received it, he said to the person on the other side. The person on the other side asked, Good work. Did he ask anything else? The man replied, No, he just took the money and left. The man hung up. The person on the other end was none other than Alexander's assistant. At this moment, he reported every detail to Alexander. That's better. He shouldn't know about us. Alex said, signaling his assistant to leave. He sat quietly working in his study. On the other side, Mika got home. He threw his cloak at the sofa and sat down. Tia, are you there? He called out to Celestia. Yes. Are you ready? Yes. He replied and said, Start the simulation. Simulation starting. Simulation begins. At that moment, Mika's vision got dark, and he felt weightlessness, as if he was in the void. Chapter 5 Knowledge. As he opened his eyes, Mika found himself sitting on the sofa. Am I inside the simulation? He asked Tia. Yes, you are. Hearing the answer, he began executing his plans. In the path of civilization, there are 11 tiers. Survivalist, settler, artisan, engineer, industrial, information, molecular engineer, quantum master, planetary architect, stellar engineer, galactic ascendant. Every tier has some skills that are needed to be completely mastered to perfection. If even one of the skills isn't perfected, he can't step into the next tier. That is why even if someone gets these books, nobody can follow it unless they have the simulation system. And another condition for following these is that there shouldn't be any influence of the world Tao within you. So in this world, only he can follow these paths. And to reach tiers from 0 survivalist to 5 information, he needed information and knowledge the most. And the practical part can be dealt with after he finishes with all the knowledge stuff. He also needed to improve his strength, so he decided to train his body regularly. Even though his body was slim and looked quite feminine, it was physically very strong. Mika himself didn't know how that was possible. Now that he thinks about it, he never looked at his appearance carefully since coming to this world. He had a slim, feminine body, raven black eyes and hair, and a feminine face. Mika was incredulous. How is he a man when every other part of his body except the private part was that of girls? It literally didn't make sense. He transmigrated as a femboy. Anyway, at least his thing was quite big. A small price to pay, he thought. His first goal was knowledge, so of course he has to go to the library. And the biggest library in this city was Phoenix Library. It was a big digital library which had almost all of the books and knowledge worldwide. After that, he left for the Phoenix Library. After reaching the library, he got a premium pass for lifetime with all knowledge in the library available to him. For the next 1 year, Mika buried himself in a vast sea of knowledge. He woke up, ate breakfast, did his daily workout of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10-kilometer run. After that, from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., he was in the library expanding his sea of knowledge. In his second year in the awakening ceremony, he heard that the daughter from the fallen Ashford family had awakened a unique class named Phoenix Warden with 9-star potential. But on the day of the college selection, her lifeless body was found under a pile of trash. It is said that she was living on the roadside before the awakening ceremony, and her family had many enemies. So her getting a powerful class was enough reason for them to eliminate her. Mika felt bad for the girl. But an idea came to his mind. He decided to know where she was on the day he started his simulation. So with that in mind, he had another task on his list. After searching for her whereabouts for 3 months, he found out where she lived before his class awakening. He noted the address in his mind. In the library, even after 2 years of reading, he could only finish 1% of the total books. In the future, there might be some new ones. Year 4, Mika received devastating news. Lily, after her graduation, joined an exploration group. But after entering a realm gate, she is missing for 6 whole months, currently deemed as dead. She left behind 3 daughters. Currently, he needed to go and pick them up since it was confirmed that they were his children. Mika was in front of the orphanage he was raised into. After greeting the old director, he looked at the 3 girls sitting on the nearby sofa. Seraphine, the eldest, has soft, golden blonde hair with deep blue eyes, being an exact copy of Lily. She was sitting there calm and composed and didn't fuss like her sister Calith. Calith has jet black hair, thick and unruly, which were tied to keep it out of her golden eyes. She is the most physically active of the 3. Currently, she was playing with action figures, which were popular among kids in this world. Beside them was Vera. She has jet black hair, fine and straight, with few stubborn curls at the ends. She had the rare, dual-colored eyes. One was deep blue like Lily's, and the other was pure black, matching Mika's. She is petite and quiet, watching her sister's antiques with curious expression. Mika got close to them, gave a polite smile, and gently said, "Hello, girls, I am your father. Your mother must have mentioned me. From now on, we are going to live together." All of them looked at him and stayed silent. Calith came forward, smiling enthusiastically, and she said, Dad, when is Mom coming back?" Mika's smile dimmed a little, but he maintained his smile and reassured them, "Don't worry. Mom is gone for a really important mission, so she can't visit you now. She will be back as soon as her mission is finished." He took them home. He noticed that they were uncomfortable coming to a new place. For some days they were uncomfortable, but after spending some time with them, their bond grew closer. The slight hesitation they had before was replaced by warmth. It was his first time being a father. So at first it was difficult, but as time passed, he witnessed them going to kindergarten, school, high school, and with that 12 years passed. Within that time, he had cleared 10% of the library. It was the girls' awakening ceremony. Mika attended their ceremony. Seraphine awakened the class Fatebinder with 8-star potential. Calith awakened the Dawnblade class with 8-star potential, and lastly Vera awakened the Clips Sorcerer class with 8-star potential. In the audience, Alex looked at the 3 and asked his assistant, "Who are they? Give me all the info about them." Their talent is unparalleled. Before we begin the next part, please watch the video to the end. The assistant hesitated. Why wouldn't they? They are your blood, after all. Alex asked him with a puzzled look, "What do you mean?" The assistant sighed. "They are young Master Mika's children, your grandchildren." Alex asked him with shock, "Are you sure?" "I am absolutely sure. Their mother is the 9-star talent from 15 years ago who went missing in a realm and is currently deemed dead," he said. Alex slapped his head with resignation. He lost his daughters in the hands of the lone wolf Lucian, who, not wanting anyone to fight him for the family inheritance, plotted and killed his sisters who adored him. Now he and his wife were alone without any descendants. Now, if Alex could bring the 3 of his grandkids to the family, he won't have any problem with Lucian. As to why he couldn't have any more children was because no professionalism after the age of 50 could have any more children. Other families produce a bunch of children to secure their bloodline, but he and his wife decided to only produce children they could raise themselves without neglecting them. Now he regrets ever making the decision of adopting Lucian. He has to get his only bloods back in the family. After the ceremony, some unknown people came to Mika, saying that they are his family and wanted to have the triplets' guardianship. Mika refused outright. He was told that his relatives were all dead. He and his children were the only bloodline of their family. He refused them all the time they tried to contact him, and even showed him a DNA report to confirm that he was their child. Even the mistress of the Ravenscroft family came to him demanding the rights to see her granddaughters. Now, even if he believed them to be his long-dead family, his daughters have seen their behavior over the days, and they definitely wouldn't accept them as their grandparents. Now, the only places that can protect them from the influence of the Ravenscroft family are the colleges. After the children left for college, Mika felt very worried. He knew that the capital was one of the most secure places on Earth, but he couldn't hide his worries. In the 21st year, the girls came back. Mika had cleared 20% of the library. Since he only needed the knowledge, he is going to collect all the knowledge in this single simulation. The girls lived with him. One night, when he came out of his room for a glass of water, he saw Seraphine sitting on the sofa. "Did you want to talk about something?" He knew Seraphina could see a glimpse into the future, so she definitely wanted to talk to him about something. "I looked at the past and saw you and Mom." She said Mika was shocked. "And I think I am becoming more like Mom." She added, "W, what do you mean?" Mika asked. He hoped that it wasn't the most terrifying thing about Lily. "I love you just as much as Mom did." Hearing her, Mika rubbed his temples. "I think we really need to talk," he said. "I also saw Mom telling us something when we were born." She interrupted him. She said, "If you girls catch your father's eyes, make sure to serve him like I did." Can you believe it? She was so madly in love with you that she could even offer us to you. She laughed as if mocking herself. "Now, I myself am telling myself that I want to be with you. I don't want to even think about living without you. Maybe this is also the thing me and my sisters inherited from our mother." She added, shocking Mika. "Why, you mean the others? They are also like me. They also have feelings towards you. I know this is disgusting, but if Mom can become your slave, then I can't step back, so please." She pleaded. Mika gave up. He stood there in silence, thinking about his choices. If he wants to, he can do incest. But he never thought that he would face this situation. He remembers the moment he thought about having every one of his wives and lovers become his slaves, so no one can ever leave him. He thought of it as crazy at that moment, but now that he is facing this situation, he might actually need to do that. Incest was disgusting, he knew, but it was still alluring. His 3 daughters that he raises from when they were only 3 years old are now top beauties. He made a decision. From now on, any woman who said that they loved him would need to become his slaves to be with him. He didn't hesitate and told this to Seraphine. She was shocked at first, but quickly became happy. From a corner, Caliph and Vera came out. The 3 of them took out a slave contract each. After signing the papers, the girls insisted on having intimacy. He reluctantly agreed. After all, he was too far for him to look back. By the morning, Mika was exhausted and the girls were all unconscious. It was a good thing that he had taken measures, so they don't become pregnant. From that day on, the girls started to work very hard to get stronger. With their protection, Mika didn't have anything to worry about. He was as diligent as before and started reading through the library. The remaining lifespans were peaceful. The girls created a small guild which was rising very quickly. At 120 years old, Mika saw his daughters taking their last breaths, one by one. They had grown old and died. They would have the chance to live some more years if they hadn't insisted on staying with him and mission on various opportunities. Now Mika can't get old and die. Maybe this was the reason many people would avoid having immortality. At his luxurious house, he was all alone. He studied the book in his hand. This was the last book he needed to read before ending the simulation. He had read all kinds of books, survival, history, forging, law, doctor manuals, and many others. For now, he had enough knowledge to reach the information tier in the path of civilization. He only needed the practical knowledge to break through. Recalling all the important incidents that happened in these 120 years, Mika used a knife and stabbed at his own heart. He looked up, feeling the blood gushing out of his wound. He closed his eyes and waited. After a long while, he heard Tia. Host's death detected. Completing the simulation. He opened his eyes. End of part 1. I still have something to say, so please watch the video to the end. Hope you like the story, and the next parts will be available soon, as it is just a failed draft of mine. I am thinking about making a remake, and if anyone want to read the remaining 20 chapters, please visit my Patreon page, link in the description.